And then you said KO, bang, bang, right?
Correct.
What's KO mean?
Knockout.
Was that a threat?
Yes.
These are threats of physical violence, right?
Correct.
You're not threatening to hurt their feelings or send them a mean text, right?
No.
You're threatening to kick their ass, right?
Correct.
To get physical, right?
Yes.
To ball up your fists and beat the shit out of them.
Can you answer that? Will you answer that, please?
Yeah, can you repeat the question?
Probably shouldn't.
But tell me how whether he's been in a fight is relevant to an issue in this case. That's what you have to do.
Because the police should have, the Massachusetts State Police should have, if they were doing their due diligence, they should have investigated this young man. They should have investigated every single person that was in that house, in or around the home of where John O'Keefe was found, the Albert home, and they didn't. They did nothing to investigate whether or not there was someone in the house who tended to fight, who wanted to get in physical altercations, who had a propensity to get in physical altercations, who was a fighter by nature, who threatened to fight, who threatened violence. That's what this young man has indicated he does constantly. I'm surprised he didn't show up in this hearing with busted knuckles.
Boy, you be knocked out, KO. Bang, bang.
And it is insufficient to support a preliminary finding that Colin Albert had the motive, intent, and opportunity to commit the crime. Before my head pops off, let me just continue reading because this may resolve itself in the next paragraph. The evidence of opportunity is wholly inadequate. There is no evidence that Colin Albert was at 34 Fairview when the defendant and Mr. O'Keefe arrived at the home. I'm sorry, what? There's no evidence? No, there's conflicting evidence.
Really, dude? Come on.
What's up, man?
Really? Really?
What? What?
I can't just go get food at my dad's store.
We're just going to see
going to dinner.
We're going to see if McCarthy's. What's the big deal? We're just going to see if McCarthy's.
Call the police.
We're just going to dinner.
Bro, chill out.
So about what time would it have been that you left?
12:10.
Just because every one of Colin Albert's relatives say that he left that house at 12:10 doesn't make it true, Your Honor. It doesn't make it true.
Who, if anyone, did you reach out to get a ride from the house?
My friend Allie McCabe.
Following that, where did you go?
I believe home.
Do you know about what time it was that you got?
Not exactly. I would estimate a little bit before 12:30, around that time.
Now, turning your attention to the following day, at some point you woke up, correct?
Yes.
On August 25th, you told the trooper that you drove Colin straight to his house after you picked him up on January 29th, and then you went straight home, correct?
Yes, I believe.
And you have previously testified back in August of 2023 that you believe you dropped Colin Albert off at his home at around 12:15, 12:20 or so?
Correct.
Here's what she says. Wait, hold on. Evidence at the first trial was that Colin Albert had already been picked up by the time O'Keefe and the defendant arrived at 34 Fairview. I call bullshit. This is a question of fact for a jury. This is a question of fact for a jury to decide. This is not an uncontested fact that should be put in your court order as truth of the matter asserted. Okay? It's up to the jury to decide that, Your Honor, not you.
At some point, did you leave your home and go out?
Yes, I did.
And do you recall about what time it was that you went out?
I do not remember.
Do you recall whether it was light or dark when you went out?
It was dark.
And where did you, upon leaving your house, where did you go?
I went to one of my buddy's houses.
And that buddy, what was his?
Mike.
How you got from your house to Mike's house, do you recall how you got there?
No, I do not remember.
Let me ask you this, did you walk, did you drive, did you get a ride?
I got a ride.
Do you recall who you got a ride from?
No.
Colin Albert didn't remember anything about anything except for he left at 12:10. There's conflicting evidence about who he passed in the foyer. Aunt Coco and Uncle Bri.
When you say you went to your uncle's house, which uncle's house did you go to?
My Uncle Brian.
Why did you go to your uncle's house that night?
It was my cousin Brian's birthday, so I went over to celebrate for a little bit with him.
And do you know how old your cousin Brian Albert Jr. was turning on that night?
I do not know.
Do you recall how you got from Mike's house to your uncle's house?
I believe Allie McCabe.
There's conflicting evidence of who picked him up.
And do you know the address as far as your uncle's house?
34 Fairview Road.
And so your memory is that Allie McCabe gave you a ride from Mike's house to the house on Fairview?
From what I remember, yes.
And within the kitchen area of the house, who, if anyone else, was present in the kitchen?
From what I remember, my cousin Brian, Emily Fabiano, Sarah Levinson, and Catherine Duty, from what I remember that night.
Okay, there's Mr. Duty. He just closed the doors. I would like to ask Mr. Duty a question, actually.
Come in.
Hi, Mr. Duty?
Yes, sir.
My name is Eden Carney from Turtle Boy Daily News.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you. I just had a quick question about the town. Have the police spoken with you at all about the Karen Reed investigation?
I'm in the middle of a meeting.
Okay.
I'm really sorry.
Do you know why your daughter's name was misspelled in the police report by Michael Proctor?
I don't.
Have you ever met Michael Proctor?
I have not.
You didn't know him at all beforehand?
No.
Okay, and you have no reason
No.
to know why her name would be misspelled?
I don't.
Did she leave before John got there?
That's what I'm told.
Okay. All right, thank you for your time.
Okay,
Appreciate
take
it.
care. Thank you.
Protocol as far as when you come home, where do you go sort of first thing when you walk in?
I always tell my mom and my dad that I'm home and usually go up to their bedroom, give them a hug goodnight, tell them I love them, and then go down to bed.
Why do you think the whole town is the
Officer
way that
Wade?
they are? You're supposed to represent
You know
this
you're just the
town.
flavor of the week, right?
How's
You know that
Officer
he will
Wade?
start you in no
You were
time.
supposed to be a representative of this town.
That's the chairman of the Board of Selectmen right
They're
there.
not from Kansas.
He's not a champion.
Or whatever he is. He's on the
He's
Board of
the one-
Selectmen.
They're
Not from Canton, so they're not allowed to walk in the street.
And did you do that on that occasion?
Yes.
So sort of immediately when you come home, you go right up to your parents' room?
Yes.
And when you got up to your parents' room on that particular evening, was both your mother and your father in their room?
Correct.
And you had that sort of exchange that you described before?
Yes.
And so your bedroom is then located downstairs from where your parents' bedroom is?
Yes.
And if you know about what time was it that you came into the house?
I want to say around 12:20.
You never called an investigator to say, hey, I have a copy of a screenshot of a text message conversation that I had with Colin Albert, correct?
No, it wouldn't have been relevant at that time,
Okay.
I believe, because Colin was not at the house and wasn't introduced as being there until later.
Why nobody mentioned him as being in the house at any point that night? Because remember, they rattled off a whole bunch of other people that were in the house that night that weren't around by the time John and Karen got there. They were named. Colin Albert never was. Ask yourself why. The jury should be able to ask themselves why.
Did you have any idea where your parents were or what they were doing?
I knew they were going out after the basketball game, but no, I didn't know. I have their Life 360. They have mine, so I wasn't sure though.
And as far as the Life 360 goes, is that something that that you sort of keep track of them or they keep track of you?
It's more them keeping track of me.
There's conflicting evidence of Allie McCabe's Life 360 data.
What time do you say that you arrived at home?
I'm not sure. Before around 12:30ish.
Okay. At 12:26 a.m. on January 29th, you left home again, right?
Objection, Your Honor.
Did you leave home?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay.
All right. And at 12:26 a.m. and 12 seconds, you arrived at the Canton High School, correct?
No.
On January 29th of 2022, At 12:26 and 55 seconds, you completed a 1-mile drive where your top speed was 43 miles per hour, right?
I don't believe so.
And then at 12:26 and 55 seconds on January 29th, you left Canton High School and arrived at home on January 29th of 2022 at 12:29 and 28 seconds, correct?
I do not know.
And then after arriving home again on January 29th of 2022 at 12:29 and 29 seconds, you completed a 12-mile drive on January 29th of 2022 at 12:31 and 22 seconds, did you not?
No.
And then you left home on January 29th of 2022 at 1:08 and 15 seconds, right?
I don't believe so.
And ultimately, you went through the home bubble and the Canton High School bubble, and you arrived at Canton High School on January 29th of 2022 at 1:28 in the morning and 8 seconds.
Can I see what you're referring to?
Sure. Did that help refresh your memory on where you were that night?
No.
Do you still dispute that you went straight home and didn't leave there?
Objection.
Sustained.
About how long a period of time was it from the time that you get the text from Colin to the time that you arrive in the area of Fairview?
I'm not sure.
And do you recall from where you were coming from as far as how did you come to Fairview? Would that have been on the Chapman side or the Cedar Crest side, or how did you come?
I don't remember.
And where in relation to the house did you park?
I believe in the driveway on the left side. Not entirely sure. I just believe that.
You didn't turn over that screenshot of the text message until about a year and a half or more after January 29th of 2022, correct?
Yes.
When did you take that screenshot that was displayed to the jury today?
I don't remember.
Was it before or after you got rid of your old phone?
I don't remember.
And somebody else has to have the app and is in the family, correct? Connected to you?
Correct.
And with regard to, just going back to the messages for a minute, do you know that it's not like you can edit it, right? I mean, the most that you can do is what we saw on the other photo. When you provided them that screenshot, did they say, hey, by the way, can I look at your phone to see if it's on there?
Objection.
I'll allow that. Did they say that to you?
I don't remember.
But in any case, you never physically showed them your phone, right?
No.
In addition to not asking you to see your new phone, they also did not ask you to do an extraction of your new phone, correct?
Correct.
And at some point in time, you realized that you'd have to be a witness in this case and have the unfortunate incident of having to talk to me, right?
Objection.
I'm going to see counsel at sidebar for just a minute on this. All right, counsel wanted to see me at sidebar?
We don't need to be seen at sidebar, Your Honor, but I do need to be seen about an issue from yesterday.
You'd like to be heard?
Well, yes, I would.
Okay, I'll hear you. What is it about?
Your Honor, we are not only renewing our objection to the alleged harassment evidence that came in yesterday, but we're specifically moving to strike that testimony and specifically asking the court, before we get started today, to instruct the jury that they are to disregard that evidence. And I wanted to point out to the court that it is our view, we didn't even come close to opening the door to that evidence. I had just asked the witness if she had turned over those text messages to the state police when she spoke to them on August 25th of 2023. I've asked every witness when was the first time that they spoke to the state police. That was the first time Allie McCabe spoke to the state police. None of that conversation had anything to do with harassment whatsoever. It was strictly related to the death of John O'Keefe and the investigation of John O'Keefe. I stayed completely clear of any discussion of harassment whatsoever. I only focused on the federal grand jury and the approach by the state police on August 25. I opened no door. I didn't even approach the door. And yet, that evidence came in. It led to a moment where, that Mr. Lally, I believe, has been waiting for, which is for a witness to break down on the stand and feel sorry for themselves to gain sympathy before this jury. It was prejudicial to our client. It's prejudicial to our defense. It is error, and we're asking the court to correct it.
All right, what do you say, Commonwealth?
Your Honor, counsel absolutely opened the door as far as the questioning was concerned. It was not just the characterization of the questioning is just simply inaccurate. As far as the questions that were posed to the witness, it was more geared towards why, implying that the witness only provided this after testifying at the other proceeding or being questioned about it in that environment, and that's the only reason that she had these messages, and why hadn't she turned these messages over earlier? And that is in direct response to the harassment that that witness and her entire family, as well as Mr. Albert, had sustained as a result of actions by several different parties, including counsel. So for those reasons, it was proper. There was nothing, I don't think it was more than 5 minutes of testimony concerning it, and it was because counsel opened the door to it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Ms. Gianetti, I remember clearly the lines of inquiry that you initiated. So I disagree with you in the strongest way possible. You've made your record. Your motion's denied.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Speculative at best? No, I would submit to you that is exactly why all that evidence should come in, so that the jury can decide why everyone is lying.
You saw the July 18 date,
Yes.
2023?
Yes.
Does that refresh your recollection that that was the first time you were interviewed by the Massachusetts State Police?
Correct.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Who conducted that interview?
Michael Proctor and one of his partners, I believe. I don't remember.
Michael Proctor was the lead investigator that interviewed you, correct?
Correct.
That's the same Michael Proctor that appears on the far left of the photo of that wedding party, correct?
Correct.
Did you find that that interview, by the way, how long did the interview last? Michael Proctor.
I do not remember.
Do you remember testifying at one point that it was about 10 minutes?
No.
So during the course of that 10-minute conversation that you had with Michael Proctor, what was the tone of that interview? You understand what I mean by tone?
I do not understand.
Okay. Was it hostile and accusatory?
Not that I remember, no.
Was it antagonistic or confrontational?
Can you use different words, please?
Sure.
Baby won't have his dad.
Look at this. Look. All the time. Fucking you, dude. You gotta be a fucking loser, too.
Was he being mean?
No.
Okay. He was being nice, right?
Professional, I'd say.
Yeah. Because you've known him almost your whole life, right?
Yes.
The interview was comfortable.
Correct.
You didn't feel like you were on the hot seat.
No.
Michael Proctor's partner, a man by the name of Yuri Buknik, you know that name?
Yeah.
He contacted you and said he wanted to talk about your text messages, correct?
I don't remember.
Do you remember that you told Yuri Buknik when he asked about the text messages, you did not have the screenshot anymore, you sent it to your father, Chris?
I don't remember that.
Do you recall telling Yuri Buknik if he wanted to get the screenshot, you weren't going to give it to him, he'd have to get it from your dad?
Do not remember that.
You remember Trooper Buknik agreeing with you and saying, sure, I'll just call your dad and get it from him?
Don't remember that.
You don't remember giving, you certainly don't remember ever giving Trooper Buknik a copy of that screenshot?
No, I don't remember.
Because you didn't, did you?
I do not remember.
But you did give it to your dad, right?
I do not remember.
Do you remember anything about this case?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll withdraw. Are you in that photograph?
Yes,
Which person are you?
in the middle.
And about what time of day was it? That's you in the middle?
Correct.
Okay. About what time of day was this taken?
Not sure.
Was it at an event of some sort, or just you were at a bar?
Just at a bar.
Okay. I want you to take a look at your right hand. Can you see from there clearly your right hand?
Yes,
What do you notice about your right hand?
it's cut up.
Your knuckles are injured, correct?
Correct.
How'd you get those injuries, Mr. Albert?
I was at a party, a house party my senior year, and I remember it being icy out, and it was kind of like a steep hill of a driveway, and I was walking up the driveway, and I slipped down the driveway, and I tried to catch myself, but I had something in my left hand, so I had tried to brace myself with my right hand, and I ended up sliding a little bit down the driveway.
What'd you have in your left hand?
If I remember, it was either my phone or a beverage.
So, according to you, you fell on ice and injured your knuckles, as we just saw in that photograph, right across the top of your knuckles.
Correct.
Okay. So you fell onto, what, pavement, asphalt?
Yes.
And you braced yourself when you fell, your entire body weight, by putting your right hand down in a fist, and you injured your right fist, just the top of the knuckles on your right fist when you fell down.
Correct.
Seriously?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Got to protect the beer that's in the other hand. So, the knuckles went down on the driveway. He remembered nothing except for exactly how he scraped his knuckles. Exactly he left that house at 12:10, and that he went up 3 flights of stairs when he got home to kiss mommy and daddy goodnight at a time when we know, I think, or we've learned that it is questionable whether or not Chris Albert was even home at that time.
You ever been in a fight, sir?
Other than with my brothers, no.
You've never been in a fight
Nope.
your entire life.
Other than with my brothers, no.
Someone walks up to you. I'm not going to do it. But if someone did, walked up to you and said, I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. You wouldn't take that as a threat?
If they walked up to me, yeah.
But if they didn't walk up and just shouted it across the street and stood there and said, I will fuck you up, I will beat your ass, that's not a threat.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think you are sure, sir.
All right, so that I'll strike at the Commonwealth standing up and objecting.
This is insane. And if you didn't think that this court, this entire Norfolk County District Attorney's Office is in place to solely protect the Alberts and the McCabe's, then I don't know what to tell you, because this should prove it to you just about now.
It's very clear that these videos are highly, highly relevant, given the sanitized testimony that this witness has tried to present to this jury. He's indicated that he's never been in a fight, doesn't have any violent proclivities, he doesn't have any violent tendencies. It's not in his countenance to do this.
There is no evidence here of a fight at all. There is no evidence that this witness was even present at the house at the same time as the victim. There's no evidence of any animus between this witness and the victim. There is no evidence whatsoever, as I stated, that he was even present at the same place at the same time on the night with John O'Keefe, on the night that John O'Keefe was killed.
Accordingly, evidence that Colin Albert is the third-party culprit is excluded from the trial. Wow. Wow. Wait a minute. You mean even after Julie Albert may have suggested to Michael Morrissey to make that hostage video, clearing her son, nobody ever knew he was there. Nobody even interviewed him until something like 18 months after January 20th, 2022. But hey, can't bring it up now. No, Colin Albert is allowed. Wow. I mean, if you had any doubt about who's being protected here, boop, there it is. There it is.
in terms of evidence of a fight, I don't know what Mr. Lau is talking about. He says there's no evidence of a fight in this case. John O'Keefe looks like he had been beaten to death. He's got 2 black eyes, a laceration over his right eye, a laceration over his nose, a giant wound on the back of his head, and he doesn't look like he was hit by a car. He looks like he was in a physical altercation. It's as plain as the nose on your face, and we have evidence that we have witnesses who are going to propound that evidence and present that evidence.